Good morning, learners, and welcome to today's Love Orientations lesson. I am your teacher, Miss Felicia Ndlovu. Now, I know that it's sad that we cannot meet face to face, unfortunately, and have contact lessons, but just as with everything, this too will also pass. But in the meantime, I need you guys to continue on putting your face masks on, sanitizing, and maintaining social distancing every time you go out in public. And make sure that you only go out when necessary. Now, an article that was written by Bruce Togg on the mental problems that are sometimes faced by children as well as adolescents and their management in communities stated that about 7 to 10% of young people encounter mental problems at some stages of their lives. And that is what we're going to be discussing in today's lesson. Our lesson is divided into two parts today. We're first going to be talking about anxiety as well as phobias. But before getting into what today's lesson is going to be about, I need to, however, encourage you to make sure that every time when you're watching these videos and we are listening to my audios, you have your notes at hand. I have posted them on your WhatsApp group along with the pictures that I will be constantly referencing to throughout the lesson. Now, the first thing that we're going to be talking about today is anxiety. Now, anxiety is just a generalized feeling of fear and apprehension that may be related to a situation or an object. Now, apprehension, my great teens, is just a fancy word for uneasiness, or just simply worry. Now, the top 4 anxieties that we're going to be dealing with today are these ones. They are in your notes. I will not be discussing them in details because the only thing that you need to know for your tests and exams is just these top 4. I do, however, want to stress once again that these anxieties as well as phobias are the ones that are prevalent amongst young people, as I mentioned at the beginning of the lesson. So the first anxiety that we're going to be talking about is generalized anxiety disorder, abbreviated to GAD. We have post-traumatic stress disorder, abbreviated to PTSD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and lastly, phobic disorder. Now, anxieties are often characterized by an increase of heart rate, blood pressure, as well as respiration or breathing. I do, however, have to also stress that anxieties lead to physiological increases, which are these things that I just mentioned, that being increased heart rate, increased respiration, as well as increased blood pressure. And the second part of our lesson, as jumping from anxieties, is phobias. Now, someone might ask me, but ma'am, what is the relationship between anxieties and phobias? Now, the relationship between these two is the fact that phobias are actually a part of anxieties. Just as I already mentioned, that one of the anxieties that we're talking about today is phobic disorder. Phobias. Very well. So, along with the pictures that I've posted on your notes on the WhatsApp group, I need you guys to constantly reference to them so that you can see the images of what a person might look like if he or she has anxiety or they have phobias as well. I do, however, have to stress learners that with everything that we're going to be discussing today and perhaps the signs that show that someone has anxiety or that they have phobias, I want you guys to not go out there and start identifying your friends, perhaps family, perhaps neighbors as having anxieties or phobias, because what we're learning today is just to prepare you for tests and exams. That does not make you a qualified psychiatrist. Psychiatrist. What is psychiatry? Good question. Just want to get the spelling correct. Good. Psychiatry. Now, in general, psychiatry has all to do with mental illnesses. But then according to the Oxford Dictionary, psychiatry actually is the treatment of mental illness, emotional disturbance, as well as abnormal behavior. But just like I said at the beginning of the lesson, we are narrowing down everything that we're talking about. We're narrowing our discussion of today to young people, the 7 to 10% that I talked about at the beginning of the lesson. Now, to phobias. So there are many types of phobias that have been researched over the years, but we're just going to focus on these 4 because these are the ones that you're going to be tested on during your tests as well as exams. The first one is arachnophobia. Now I have to share with you that this is a personal phobia of mine. Yes, grade 10s, I do have arachnophobia. But what is arachnophobia? Arachnophobia, grade 10s, is the fear of spiders. The second phobia that we're going to be talking about is acrophobia, which is basically the fear of heights. We have coulrophobia, which is the fear of clouds, and then lastly we have glossophobia, which is the fear of public speaking. Now, with that being said, I want you guys to understand that both the definitions of anxiety as well as phobias are very much important. I have posted them on your notes, but I will again read out the definition of phobias for you. Very well. So phobias are extreme or irrational fears of aversion or of aversion to something. Now, aversion is another fancy word that is similar to the word dislike. So a person will have intense fear against something, and that is referred to as a phobia. The word, however, before the word phobia, that being your arachno, acro, chloro, and glosso, just basically refer to the particular items, the particular objects that that person might particularly be afraid of. For example, the word arachnophobia comes from the word arachnid, which refers to a group of insects like spiders as well as scorpions. And then the word phobia just simply means fear. So do you see how these two words will be combined together to come up with your phobias? I hope you do, because I made sure that you guys do according to the pictures that I've also posted for you on your WhatsApp group chat. And with that being said, in today's lesson, in conclusion, we talked about what are anxieties. We talked about the definition of anxiety, and we also talked about the definition of phobias, which is very important. Secondly, we talked about the top 4 anxieties that are prevalent amongst young people. And then we also talked about some of the phobias that are also prevalent amongst young people. And then, very important, we talked about the relationship between phobias and anxiety. And I said to you, just to remind you, that phobias are actually a part of anxiety. They form amongst the group of anxieties that exist among young people, and therefore they are added onto the list. But the relationship between them and phobias is the fact that phobias are a part of anxiety. I hope you guys are clear on that one as well. Very well. And then the last thing that we talked about was the word psychiatry. I want you guys to understand that in general, it has all to do with mental problems. But during your tests and exams, I need you guys to constantly be referring to your notes and also trying your best to explain it as explained on the notes. Now, with that being said, learners, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's lesson. I will be posting the worksheet for you to do your homework assignment for this week, which is due next week, Monday. I will see you next time. Bye-bye, grade 10s. But before I leave, grade 10s, don't forget to post any of your questions and queries on the WhatsApp group chat. I am there to attend to them 24/7, and your peers are also there to assist you in anywhere where you have questions. So don't feel bad if you don't understand anything. Just make sure that you ask on the group chat. Don't forget again, I'm going to remind you again, to submit your worksheet by next week, Monday. I will not accept any late submissions. because this is very crucial for you to track your progress, to see how much you understand, and also for that one lucky learner of mine that's going to get a free chocolate every single week for getting a total on your worksheet. Now don't forget to sanitize, keep your face masks on, and always make sure that you maintain social distancing every time you go out to public places. I love you, great Goodbye.